The IPL is done and dusted, but the celebrations, the post-event celebrations, the aftermath of it still lingers on. An unfortunate incident where 11 people lost their lives because of the felicitation ceremony. Their lack of preparedness, or just poor planning. A lot of people are being blamed, be it the RCB, the KSE, or the Karnataka government, or all of them. So let's start from there itself. June 3rd, a joyous moment for the RCB fans, but merely 15 hours later, at the end of it, or rather, even before the felicitation ceremony could start, we had a stampede right outside the stadium. 11 people, as I said, dead. Rudransh, lack of preparedness, lack of planning, or is it just a case where victory parades in India at such a short notice just doesn't work?
It doesn't work. That is for sure. I know a lot of people are citing the T20 World Cup parade. How it was successful in Mumbai. It wasn't successful. It was just there were no lives lost. People were still there was people. A lot of people still faced a lot of difficulties. It was not reported, and it was not reported enough under the whole blanket of the celebrations. But here it was it spiraled into something much more tragic, and it had to be reported. That's why it was reported. So yeah, it doesn't work without the needed the what we don't understand right now in India. There are several moving parts in such kind of parades. For example, I think it's also because our sportspersons see England and see how they celebrate their achievements in parades, especially in Premier League, in football. But those are done after a meticulous planning, after taking so many permits. They have extreme amount of permits. So, for example, last season when Arsenal Manchester City were playing, the season went till the last day. Both were in contention, so both had to take the permits. Although one team was much less likely to win the tournament, but they both took the permits, entirety of it, so that if all of it was planned and there were no mishaps or anything, and that went perfectly fine. That it has been going on pretty well for many years. So yeah, I we are talking, as you said, it has become very political. It has Everyone is blaming each other, but I think the only way forward is getting a proper investigation done. There's a lot of confusion. Did the police agree? Did the police not agree? Did the government agree? Did the government not agree? How many functions were there? How many people were there? What was the capacity? What was the preparedness? Were the police ready? Were the police not ready? What gates were open? What gates were not open? Who instigated it? Were there any hooligans involved? Were there any people who were actually trying to create a fuss or create a chaos? Were such people involved? There are a lot of moving parts, and it requires a thorough investigation, and not these actions. Oh, blame this, arrest that. These are just moves to distract from what actually happened. These things can't happen just like that. It needs to be considered properly, so that we also avoid these things in the future. The answer is not to not have victory parades. These are part of the sport. These are important for celebrations, but it's important to have safe victory parades, and a proper investigation will tell us what went wrong and what can be done right.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, there needs to be investigation, but on the face value of it, you'd see, as I said, you have had a victory parade, as you mentioned, the T20 World Cup.
Yeah.
7 days later,
Yeah.
you had the victory parade of the Gujarat Titans in 2022. It was an open bus parade. Again, planned, maybe a few days later,
Yeah.
the win. Here, the most striking part is 15 hours, not even a day. And you are saying we have a victory parade here. That too in a city like Bengaluru,
Yeah.
chocker block. Regular traffic becomes such a big issue. Just a bit of a rainfall becomes such a big issue. Having that in just mere 15 hours, you can say that the police did not give the permit, or the KSCA guys did not open the gates, or the authorities just wanted to just be part of it, trying to gain a political advantage there, whatever you can say. But from an RCB point of view, do you think they should have waited? I mean, that's fine, 17 years you have waited. You can't wait for 17 hours to have a celebration. Did that, or we are not looking at the other aspect wherein RCB management thought, you know what, we are not going to get the players. Virat Kohli is going to fly back to London the next day, maybe or maybe not. You had these foreign players who have their packed schedule. You are not able to get those guys again. Or is it a case where you could have done that, just needed meticulous planning, or it was something, as you call, shouldn't be the case, but spur of the moment, oh, we are there, we let's celebrate it. KSEA or the police department or the Karnataka government, they'll take care of everything. We have our players and we'll do it.
Yeah, it is complacency. They thought they are just celebrating it, and you can't take the fault of them at all, because although I am pretty sure they must have understood the kind of fanfare they are going to witness in Bengaluru, because we heard a lot of players saying, "Oh, it will really sink in when we go to Bengaluru, and
More
we
so
will see."
Virat Kohli.
Virat Kohli said it clearly that we are going to see you tomorrow, and that was the announcement. That's when it all started, and they invited free passes. They said that we are the entry is free, but it's limited. That's the typical case of saying, oh, we know that 2 lakhs of you come, but only 20,000 of you will get in. Chinnaswamy has a capacity of, I think, 35,000.
35,000, yeah.
So you are saying we know that 2 lakh of you will come, or 5 lakh of you will come, but we have only 35,000 capacity, and it's first come first basis. What are you expecting? You can't expect them to not trust. You can't expect them to not fight each other for that one pass, or for those 2 passes. They will obviously fight for those 2 passes, and 5,000 people will fight for those 2 passes, and they should be they should consider themselves lucky that it was just 11 people, because the kind of population there was on a weekday when traffic is at its peak anyway. I have heard the police asked him to, let's do it on a weekend, so there is not much office traffic and roads aren't as congested, but they didn't want to do that, and anything could be the reason. Okay, you are saying that Virat Kohli won't be available, or these players won't be available, but their schedules are not more important than 11 lives or 20 lives or 30 lives which could have been lost. Their schedules are far, far less important than lives of people, real people who want to watch you. I am pretty sure even if you had like 10 RCB players doing a victory parade, people would have come to watch. Yeah. It doesn't matter if everyone is not involved. If they are not involved, they cannot be involved, it's their fault. You cannot risk the lives of people. You cannot ask that we will host it whenever we want, we'll just ask for permission, we'll host it, without considering the impacts it can have. And that's just lack of judgment. I think we were talking about it in another subject, but there is a lot of lack of social judgment, lack of understanding of how our country, our states, our people think, and how they plan, how they live their lives. There's a lot of lack of understanding in that. They IPL, we have I think a lot of people question of how IPL is not cricket, and how IPL is in its separate bubble, and these franchises are not helping their cases by showing that they only care about what is in their bubble. It's IPL cannot be just about cricket. You have to think about society as a whole. You have to consider a lot of things, how our fans will react to everything, and how dangerous it could get for them. You are the ones responsible for it, and they should think more about it, and they should have thought more about it.
They should have thought a lot more about it before the event started, but there's
Exactly.
one major criticism in terms of, you had 11 people dying outside.
Yeah.
The felicitation ceremony was still not on. You went ahead with that ceremony there. Virat Kohli could be very clearly seen that we need to wrap this up within 10 minutes. So something was off, everybody knew. Yet that decision of going ahead, parading that trophy, players smiling, they would know what was happening. This is the age of social media. Nobody is preview, or nobody is like ignorant of the fact that what was happening inside. People, inside don't know what is happening outside. Yeah. Everybody has phones on their hands. Social media is everywhere. That decision itself, pretty much, as you mentioned, RCB or any franchise management thinking themselves, it's our own bubble. How could they have gone ahead with that? And that, I think, that is one criticism which is probably fair, going against an RCB management or whoever planned or decided we should go ahead with it.
Yeah, it was horrible viewing, because we were sitting here, because we were getting the information that people are actually dying, and I think someone there would have not passed on that information. I think if the information was passed on that people have died, I think we could have definitely seen a change of mood in there. But I think it's the fault of those people. Somewhere the information was not passed. I think they would have, the information that could have gone through at that time could have been that there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of ruckus, and they might have thought, oh, it's a good thing that people are so mad for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think somewhere there should have been an information passed that people are actually dying and we need to shut this off right now. There should be no more celebration. There should be no more smiles. Let's go back. Let's not make this any worse. It was not just a PR disaster, but it was also a huge. It just showed how irresponsible they were, and it just proved once again that they did not know how to react to these things. They were not prepared at all that something like this could happen, and they did not consider it that people could actually die. And uh, I think it's a lack of judgment, because I remember when we were talking that, oh, RCB has won, there might be a lot of chaos in Bengaluru. We could know that, we could tell that sitting here in Delhi that there would be a lot of chaos. You could see there were signs, people were celebrating that night. There were so many people out on the street, and even asking them to gather in one area which didn't have the capacity to hold those many
Multiple
people.
areas, in fact.
Yeah, multiple areas which didn't have the capacity to hold them, which didn't have the capacity to hold lakhs of people. It was just stupid. It was actually stupid, and they are paying the price for it, and they will continue to pay the price for it. And but yeah, obviously, these guys, the 10 lakh rupees, the 25 lakh rupees, it doesn't do anything for it. The biggest price, who has paid the biggest price is the government, is the people whose family members have died. And yeah, I don't think RCB or Bengaluru will be same for them.